man says what he thinks. Not so, woman. I become true if I told you. Well, his belly is too big, his eyes too gummed, his hair just silly, fingers always stained with ink. The number of times he's insulted me, my breath reeks indeed. And where else should I tread but on the ground? I resent the constant whinging, ringing of his soul, as if his soul is bigger, better, more worthwhile than mine. My sensitivities are never taken to account. He's always only looking for the rhyme. Poets are no better than the rest. Words, perhaps, turn everything to metaphor. Hide behind the words, suck the life from you for the sake of a poem, turn you into a line on the page. So, dear reader, are you interested in what I think? What makes me tick? What I might want? Or do I only count because I'm the woman that Will wrote about? The colour of my breasts, my raven blackness. I'm his most precious jewel. False speaking, cruel, taking his reason from him, making him sin, awarding him pain. Gone, speculate, am I this person or that? Who am I? Still, just cipher, just the muse, object of desire, passive subject. The dark lady has been written about. Is it a woman's place to be content with this? Many women, many muses through the years will suffer the same fate, I fear. For me at least, I've wit enough to hitch my star to excellence. And he is excellent, my Will. Despite my complaints, I know he's something special. Masked, watching from a gallery in the globe, I am a willing victim, seduced every time. But what is sexier than language to a lover of language? Will's words run through my mind, my heart, my being, making me love him, making me jealous of him. I wouldn't be surprised if down the next century and the next boys still play Ophelia, Desdemona, actors make their reputations with Hamlet, Lear, Macbeth. But I bend thoughts to words as he can. I might be content with that. At night I light a candle, take out quill and ink, write my own Gertrude. She is born to say something different. Won't have to remarry in such haste. Might not need a man at all in order to survive the state we live in. I have such imaginings in me. I could believe no daughter would be put to death for refusing to marry her father's choice. No wife sent to prison on her husband's jealous whim. A clever woman wouldn't need to dress up as a man to make her courtroom argument. Each would be queen of herself, not merely any muse or drudge or wife or whore and tyrant's fear, when we reveal that every woman has that same strength of heart and stomach shown by glorious Queen Elizabeth. Women could translate themselves or femaleness in loops of verse, loosening form like leaving corsets off, put paint on canvas to reveal their vision, compose music that soars as high and wide and splendidly as any man's. What a brave new world it would be that had such women in it, citizens of an equal earth, each willing her own destiny, each governing her own life and free to do it. Unlikely, you'll think I'm mad, bad, a dangerous drab to think such things, to attempt a vindication of the rights of women. I should know my place, accept my lot, spare rib, second six, female eunuch, as I'm held to be. You'll hardly listen to me. Listen, a chorus of voices, future, present, past, set up a clamour that cannot be ignored. And I hold fast to dreaming of this change of world.
She looked at the party last night and how young and slim all her old friends said she looked, and how no one would believe she had a daughter of 14 years old. Of course, I had to remind her that you're still 13 until the end of this month. I don't think she liked that one bit. My Susan would have been 14 tomorrow. Did you know that?
Yes, of course, Tata. Would you like to go to the cemetery with you again?
She'd be growing into a young woman, just like you, my love. Oh, she was such a beautiful baby. Everybody said so. With a head full of jet black hair. Not like you. You were bald as a coot until you were nearly 2 years old. I had to tie a pink ribbon round your bums, just so people could tell you were a girl. I almost forgot. There was a young man at the party last night asking all kinds of questions about you.
What?
that now, love?
Come on, Tata, you know you're mean. Is it him?
Well, let me see if I can remember this young bloke. Easy enough on the eye he was, sure enough. Maybe not quite as fit as that Paris. Oh, no, if I were a few years younger and had all my own teeth, oh, I'd be all over that Paris. Oh, yes, indeed.
Please, that's gross.
Well, no, you know, your mum and dad think
I
it
don't
would be
care
real.
about my mom and dad. All he cares about is his money and his position. I'm my mother. She wants Paris for herself. She's like a total cougar. Could you just tell me, was it Romeo?
Romeo? Romeo?
Tata!
Oh, okay. Okay. Look. He gave me his number for you.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I know, but sweetie, he's a Montague, and you know what that means. Oh, love, it's not like I don't know how you feel. I was young too once, believe it or not. And I had a waist like a wasp too. When I was 17, I could have had my pick of any of the boys in our village. I was pretty enough, and my father had lots of money. Well, not like Capulet money, but more than most. I fell for the young barman at our local pub. Oh, he was gorgeous. Oh, of course, my father wouldn't let me anywhere near the pub because he was the clean living sort. But we saw each other in secret all through the summer. Oh, you know, there's a stage between a boy and a man when they really can be beautiful. Not handsome or hunky, but truly beautiful. Your Romeo has that look about him. Well, of course, it wasn't long before my father found out. God, he was furious. He treated me to an hour-long sermon on temperance and forbade me to ever go anywhere near the pub again. He called me all the names of the day. Jezebel, Salome, wife of Lot. What's her name again? All the names the Bible would allow anyway. I mean, the funny thing is, my boy didn't even take a drink. He didn't care for the stuff, seeing as his father was a slave to it. I really did feel like my life was over that day.
What did you do, Tata?
Well, I was all set to run away with them, would you believe? To elope.
You didn't.
No, sweetie, I didn't. The night before I was due to run away with my boy, didn't my younger sister give birth to a baby boy right there on the kitchen floor? I mean, we all noticed she was getting a bit chunky round the waist, but I thought it was just cream cakes from the shop. And this surprise grandchild, well, finished my saintly father off altogether. He slipped in the bloody mess on the floor, had a massive heart attack and died right there and then.
Oh my God.
Well, couldn't very well leave my mother to deal with all that commotion. My boyfriend left on a train without me. But I didn't blame him. He had to get away from that awful drunk of a father. Well, we three women, we tried to keep the shop running for as long as we could. But my father's holier-than-thou customers didn't show much charity for three women raising a bastard. That's what they called a baby like that back then. Isn't it awful? I mean, it wasn't the poor child's fault. Done nothing wrong. My mother would barely leave the house, so it was up to me to earn a living. I went into service as a cleaner. After a few years, I met a kind, funny man. He was working as a gardener for your parents. And we married. Oh, I loved him enough. But I can tell you, certainly was no beauty. When your parents discovered that I was expecting a baby the same time as you, well, they brought me in to nurse you. Mrs. C certainly had no intention of taking you to your own bosom, believe me. Must have heard they'd make them go droopy. For 2 precious weeks, I had my Susan and my Juliet, my kitten and my lamb. When little Susan died, well, my husband was heartbroken and he took to the drink. I think that's what finished him off in the end. And 4 years after Susan died, he was gone too.
I'm so sorry, Tata. Why did you never tell me any of this before?
You were just a child. You still are, for goodness sake.
No, I love you, Tata. You're ancient, but you're actually my best friend. God, I'm such a little girl. Oh, it's him! He's outside. You look okay? Is my hair alright?
You look lovely, as always, sweetie. Go on. Go to your Romeo. But please be careful. Oh dear. If anything were to happen to that girl, I just don't know what to do.
Well, we've just heard a lovely piece about Romeo and Juliet there. And this is also related to Romeo and Juliet, but when we first see Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, he's in love. But he's not in love with Juliet, he's in love with a girl called Rosaline. And he actually goes to the Capulets party to see Rosaline, she's going to be there and everything. And then he sees Juliet and he completely falls in love with Juliet, forgets all about her Rosaline. So this is about Rosaline and her feelings, her poor hurt feelings, and her sense of relief from possibly having escaped from a complete clusterfuck of a situation.
I guess you lied. but was I really supposed to swoon? Be green and pale like the envious moon. And I guess I'm better off without you. I guess things wouldn't have worked out so well. I guess I'm better off without you. Whatever happened to me, no one can tell, 'cause I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm not there. And I don't care. And even though I was the one you loved first, I'm not the one who immortalized it in blank verse. What if I had succumbed to your ruin that have made us lose? Yes, I guess I'm better off without you. I guess things wouldn't have worked out so well. Yes, I guess I'm better off without you. Whatever happened to me, no one can tell. Yes, I guess I'm better off without you. It's just as well our hearts didn't intertwine, 'cause I know no one ever wrote a play called Romeo and Rosaline. 'Cause I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm not there. And I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, Helena! Goddess, nymph divine!
A moment, please, my love.
Sweetness, princess, wife. Helena!
Leave me a minute. My head is ringing.
What did you say?
Coming now, my lord. My love. Artemis. Goddess divine.
Sweet Helena, all alone on your wedding night?
My husband sleeps.
As men in their weakness are known to do after.
Not Demetrius. He sleeps before. Aye. 'Tis mighty strange. He called me, and he kissed me like he did when he first wooed me, and then he bid me undress and climb into our marriage bed, and trembling, so I did. His fingers sought me out. I could have burst my skin for the singing in my bones. But then he dropped upon the floor. At first I thought my love was dead. It seemed my luck that he was only sleeping. So I kissed his brow, his cheeks, his lips. But he slept on. So I waited and waited and waited until finally he woke and stretched and called for more. He drew me to him with his great bare arm and planted a kiss upon my breast. But within a blink of that tender kiss, he dropped again and began to snore. Oh, goddess, what sickness belies him? What malady strikes him down?
Oberon has enchanted your love. He bid the puck close his eyes with the juice of a little purple flower.
Cupid's bloom.
The very bud. And swept across the eyes of a sleeper, Cupid's bloom will cause the man to dote on the next creature he sees, even cause him to forsake his true love.
And so Demetrius threw me over for Hermia and broke our betrothal.
No, that is why Lysander and Demetrius threw Hermia over last night in the woods.
Don't speak of it.
It is why they chased you, declaring love.
No, no, no.
Helena, Lysander's enchantment was broken, but Demetrius's was not. The love he has for you now is only love in idleness.
No, all is well now. My love was lost, but like a jewel I found him.
But he is not your own.
He is mine. Ask any in Athens.
None would argue. No one else would care to have him.
Stop! He is a good man.
A good man? Though he cast you off, though he tongue-whipped you.
Lysander did the same to Hermia.
Lysander cast Hermia off under enchantment. But even under spell, he never promised her violence.
Demetrius' threats were empty. He did me no mischief. He would not have hurt me. He did not hate me. He did not. He did not. He did not.
Poor wretch. Now I see why Oberon took pity on you.
Pity? No, not pity. It was a cruel fairy jest to give Demetrius back and not give him to me wholly.
'Twas no jest. Oberon did not know that love and idleness can never be consummated. Long ago I made that so.
Then you can make it unso and give me my Demetrius.
I could. But I won't.
Then I must remain a married maid.
There is another way. Crush this into Demetrius's eyes. It will lift the enchantment Oberon has placed on him.
Will he love Hermia again?
Yes.
Then no. No, I will not do it.
You must.
He will cast me off, or worse.
No matter. I would have you for my hunting party.
I am no hunter.
You hunted Demetrius.
And could not catch him.
Then you have no right to keep him, even in a gilded cage.
He has put me in a cage. He sought my hand, my love. You would have me free Demetrius. Demetrius, who is a happy, sleeping fool who knows nothing of his cage. And you would leave me trapped, bereft of my only comfort.
I would not leave you. I would free you. Throw off this yoke of marriage, that hollow rush of desire. Come, run with me. Live chaste, live long and swift, and become a woman whole.
Can you take my love away?
No.
Then you cannot free me. So give me my love. Give me my love, or take my love away.
No.
Oh, then leave me be. Go.
Demetrius left you of his own free will.
Since when have the gods cared for free will, except when it suited their purpose? If you have the power, why don't you release him?
Because I want you to let him go.
No. I would sooner plant my feet, raise my arms, and let you turn me into a cypress tree.
Do not tempt me.
Helena!
My husband calls.
Like he calls his hounds. Lysander does not sleep. Hermia is no longer a maid. She is a happy wife, and I have blessed their marriage bed. But you, willing or not, you will be my acolyte. Any man who seeks you will fall to slumber. You will ever be a maid. You will never be a mother. That is the price of Demetrius's cage.
But I will have Demetrius. Nothing will take him from me?
Nothing but death.
Then take your price. Have you come to gloat?
No, sweet Helena.
Did you curse our wedding party all those years ago?
No. Why say you so?
Of 3 brides that day, only I still live. Theseus threw off Hippolyta for Phaedra, and when in anger Hippolyta attacked the wedding ceremony, Theseus himself slew her with a sword. And Hermia, you said you had blessed her wedding bed.
And I did. There is a child.
That Hermia paid for with her life.
That was not my doing.
You could have saved her.
I could have, if I had thought to. But your mortal lives move too fast for me. One day you're fresh young girls, and the next, old maids.
If I were not a coward, I would strike you.
For Hermia's death or for your own lost youth?
For both.
I offered you release.
No, you offered Demetrius release.
And does it break your heart?
No, my heart is long gone. But my love remains and rattles in my empty chest with every breath. Thank you.
Don't dawdle. It must be done before dawn. Come then. The hunt awaits. There is a bear. You love him still. Then let me help you. Let me take your love for him away.
Who would you put in his place?
Whoever you choose.
I choose Demetrius.
You cannot stay with him.
I can. I will. You try and take his love, like you did for Hermia?
Yes.
But it is not forgotten. When he sleeps, he murmurs her name. And too often I have woken with his hands around my neck, his eyes vacant as he snarls at me. So now when the moon is full bright, I bar my door, and at dawn send the servants to fetch him from Hermia's grave. But Lysander has sworn to kill him if he is found there again. I've tried to cage him, but Demetrius can be cunning in his sleep. But now that his love for Hermia is free, now I think he will be safe and sleep sound again. If you still seek to tame me, then best turn me into a cypress tree, or to a deer and send an arrow through my breast.
Hermia?
He will kill you.
Maybe he will kill me. Maybe he will love me. Either would be a release.
He will kill you. And death will be no release from love.
Your curses cannot reach me. I am free.
Hermia?
We lost my mother when I was 2 years old. How careless. Papa hadn't even bothered to tie her down. Back then, Papa was always losing things. Spectacles, friends, full-grown children. It was only a matter of time before he misplaced a wife. The shock of it turned him cautious overnight. Safety first, eh, Dad?
Safety first, and proceed with caution, my dear. The last thing this family needs is another avoidable tragedy. Caution won't stop the apocalypse, but I do believe, however, that if we eliminate regular human error, the world will be a much safer and more efficient place.
And so we don't run with scissors, juggle with knives, stick our fingers in the plug sockets, indulge in strong drink, dance on tables, play with swords, run around with the wrong sort of boys, or do anything which might be mistaken for fun.
That's my girl.
And once a week on Thursdays, we turn the wireless on and listen to safety lessons for young ladies of a fragile disposition. It's on the World Service, sandwiched between the shipping news and women's hour. Papa stumbled upon it one afternoon when he was looking for the football results.
And I thought to myself, that's just the programme for our Ophelia. Educational, well-researched, English. Just the ticket for keeping a flighty young girl grounded.
We listen in every week. If I take my safety lessons seriously, Papa
Papa thinks I might survive the awkward teenage years and make it as a lady.
It's time, my love.
Already? Wasn't it only yesterday we practiced how to handle a potato peeler?
No, that was 2 weeks ago, my sweet. Last week, don't you remember, it was walking on icy pavements. And this afternoon, I do believe it's travelling in motorised vehicles.
Motorised vehicles, Papa? Whatever will they think of next?
There's no end to the dangers young girls such as yourself need educated about. Ophelia, if I had my way, you'd never leave the house.
If you had your way, I'd be closeted up in a nunnery, safe and sound, and dull as a digestive biscuit.
Nobody is forcing you to be here, Ophelia.
You know I do it because I love you. Besides, it's something of an education, discovering all the different ways the world is out to get me. Nail clippers, squirrels, electric kettles, butcher boys. Seems there's nothing I'm safe from. It's good to be informed.
You have your mother's impertinent tongue. Now, turn on the wireless and quit with your nonsense making.
Good afternoon, and welcome to safety lessons for young ladies of a fragile disposition. Following on from last week's informative report concerning the dangers lurking in our icy pavements of our towns and cities, I am pleased to report a rapid downturn in the number of instances of young ladies admitted to accident and emergency wards of our local hospitals, with fracture, sprains, and unfortunate bruising to the buttocks. Well done, young ladies. Safety first.
Safety first, indeed.
We'll be taking a look today at motorised vehicles. As well you know, young ladies, after the rampant dragons and invading barbarians, the motorised vehicle is the third largest killer in our modern world today. Of course, young ladies of a fragile disposition would never be daft enough to operate such a vicious machine. However, occasionally one might find oneself coerced into travelling from point A to point B in a motorised vehicle. However, if such a situation occurs, I advise the use of wearing a safety belt. A safety belt should be fastened across the breast, from the shoulder to the waist, and it should be held securely inside the hole. Under no circumstances should the safety belt be removed while the vehicle is in transit. Remember, young ladies, clunk, click.
Should the car look as if it might be heading towards a collision, I could drop a sly hand with enough force to release the seatbelt from its clasp. So, upon impact, I fly gracefully through the windscreen, haloed in a constellation of glassy shards, and the waiting world would have no notion that my tragic death was anything but an awful, awful accident.
That's all for this week. Stay safe, young ladies, and if you can't stay safe, stay inside.
Safety first. Plenty to get on with there.
Absolutely, Papa. You can be sure I'll take every opportunity to practice my seatbelt fastening over the weekend. Clunk click, as they say. I can hardly wait for next week's programme.
Best to be prepared.
If only I knew what I was preparing for. There's a big difference between a plane crash and the Spanish flu. When the tragedy catches up with me, it must appear accidental. It would break my poor Papa's heart if it didn't look like an accident. Besides, I want to make sure I'm wearing the right outfit when the end comes. No one wants to be captured forever in last season's frock. Don't worry, Papa, I'll keep practicing. I'll be incapable of error by the time I turn 18.
We must keep up with your safety lessons, Ophelia. The world is a very dangerous place for a young girl. Of course, I'll do my bit.
Papa supervises.
Ophelia practices. And I hope to goodness that some of the good sense sticks. She doesn't go the way of her late mother.
I play the dutiful daughter. Practicing, practicing. Always practicing to avoid the inevitable. Papa watches and I wonder why in the world we bother with this ridiculous charade?
No amount of caution will keep me from an early grave.
A girl knows when she's destined for tragedy. You pick these things up from your mother. And Lord Almighty, my mamma had a tragic streak 2 foot wide.
I keep imagining the worst. The child is the living spit of her mother. It's like reading a book back to front. God help us both, for I already know the ending.
There's not a soul in Denmark will mention my mother's name now for fear of bringing down a fresh calamity. Half the neighbours don't even know what happened to her. Well, let me tell you, my mamma turned me tragic. Passed the curse on like a weak chin long before I slipped out.
I knew I'd caught it the day my first tooth dropped, and I could feel the rot was already in there, eating away at the possibility of a happy ever after.
Every time I look at her face, I see the face of her poor mother smiling back at me. You try and do the best you can to protect your children, wrap them up in cotton wool if you get half a chance. But with this one, I just always knew it was never going to be enough.
A girl knows when she's destined for disaster. You keep these inklings to yourself, though. You go through the motions of every day, hoping, and because you love them dearly, you do not worry the people who love you most. All the time you plan, in secret with notes and diagrams, how you will take your tragedy with dignity, how you will carry yourself when calamity catches up with you, how you will be remembered in the centuries to come. Is it time for another lesson, Papa?
Not quite yet, my sweet. However, it wouldn't do any harm to catch the repeat later this evening. You can never be too cautious. And so, safety lessons came to pass for religion in our house. We worshipped every Thursday afternoon, our ears open in front of the wireless, week in, week out. Ophelia practiced like a penitent saint. And I lived in fear, with hope and longing for the lonely life of my daughter.
The rhythm of discipline kept us from imploding, but we both knew that our safety lessons were small weapons in the war against fate. Every morning, the inevitable end seemed louder and more seductive. But I could barely admit this to myself, let alone Papa. Everything was for him. The whole blessed charade. An attempt to soften the blow.
Everything was for her. Every prayer, every lesson. An exercise in postponing the inevitable. It's time, my love.
Ready as always, Papa.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Safety Lessons for Young Ladies of a Fragile Disposition. I hope you have all had a very cautious week and have implemented last week's advice on the importance of a correctly fitted safety belt.
Clunk, click. Ophelia.
This afternoon, we'll be considering the humble envelope. Many of you, I know from your letters, are in the habit of receiving regular correspondence from suitors and absent lovers. Young ladies, may I advise the practicing extreme caution when opening your envelope, which you might chance upon. Last year's medical report from the Chief Medical Officer highlighted that the common paper cut as a major source of premature death amongst young ladies of marriageable age. A paper cut, no matter how inconsequential, can easily become infected and without prompt and proper treatment lead to amputation and ultimately death. Young ladies, regardless of how keen you are to get the sentiment contained therein, please, please practice extreme caution when opening your envelope. Always, let me repeat myself, always use a letter opener.
And if the hand brandishing that letter opener should suddenly slip, slicing with cruel intent into the death-white cliff of my neck so the blood gushed forth in pillar-box torrents,
Oops! I hadn't even thought. I must be more vigilant. There's no end to the dangers in this world.
That's all for this week. Stay safe, young ladies. And if you can't stay safe, stay inside.
Every Thursday, regular as the winter freeze, we tuned into safety lessons for young ladies of a fragile disposition.
Every Thursday from the age of 8 to almost 16.
We covered avalanches, boned fish, ladders, and continental travel.
Still, I never felt for 1 second safe in my own soon-to-be tragic skin.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours spent conceiving every possible way her world might end. And yet, I just never felt prepared to lose her.
If only I hadn't cared about him.
If only I hadn't loved her as a second skin.
There was never a chance to be honest. Hundreds and thousands of cautious hours I could have kept for the boys and their fumblings, for the wild, wild world hesitating outside my door. Still, I played the dutiful daughter. I kept up with my safety lessons because I loved my papa, because I hadn't the voice to say enough, because I knew that one afternoon I listened to my last safety lesson, and I wanted to be ready.
It's time, my love.
It always comes so soon, Papa. Time is such a cruel thief.
Good afternoon, and welcome to safety lessons for young ladies of a fragile disposition. This week, we'll be putting our needlework away and thinking of more cautious subjects. Safety first, young ladies.
Safety first, indeed.
This afternoon's broadcast has a more pastoral theme. We'll be venturing beyond the city walls and peering into ponds, streams, and watery death traps, which litter our countryside in order to ensure none of you make the same mistake of wandering, too close to the water. Please, girl, when frolicking in the countryside, alone or with a suitor, ensure that you're wearing the correct footwear. Something substantial and well-gripping would be ideal. Yes, keep well away from the riverbanks and, whenever possible, take the precaution of donning a flotation aid. The waterways of our countryside are not as innocently scenic as they might seem. Young ladies, take it from me, a woman well informed of the most dangerous dangers. No one, not even the most accomplished swimmer, is safe from the murderous intentions of open water.
Seems those swimming lessons weren't worth the expense, sweetheart.
Caution, young ladies. May I urge you to practice extreme caution every time you approach an expanse of water. Don't go wandering too near the riverbanks alone. Don't lean too far into the shore. And in the name that is all good and true, don't go climbing up trees anywhere too near the water.
Supposing a tree should tempt me, a willow tree with falling, tumbling branches, brittle enough to break under my cautious weight, and I tumbled head over anxious heel into the inky water beneath. I should not cry out. I should not struggle. I should drown tragically in my very best dress, hands clasped like a regular saint. Supposing they found me, floating face cast to the heavens, and the branches all snapped and tumbled about me. It would be hard-pressed to assume my end anything but an accident. They would capture me for centuries to come in words and pictures, crowned in flowers and peacefully faced. Tragic kind of beauty.
That's all for this week. Stay safe, young ladies. And if you can't stay safe, stay inside.
All done for another week.
All done, Papa.
Now you must begin practicing.
Practicing, practicing, always practicing.
Practice makes perfect, my love.
I've been practicing so very long now, Papa. I do believe this lesson might come easier than the others.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hi. This next song is called I Can't Wait to Be Queen. And it's not from The Lion King. Sorry. Go to the Disney show, that's on next week. No, it's about a certain Scottish noblewoman who's just received a very exciting letter from her husband.
Behind every strong man there's a strong woman, and I'm bringing up your rear when the sun that is coming. Cause now for the kingship we can start gunning. I can manipulate your darkest wishes, cause I know that deep down you are ambitious. But we need to bring out the part of you that is vicious. Though your meeting with those witches on the heath was quite propitious. Cause you just need a little push, need a little shove, need somebody who can be the artist in your velvet glove. Can't you see this is our destiny? Well, I just can't wait to be queen. But there is a part of you that I fear. It's too full of the milk of human kindness, my dear. But if you're full of milk, then I'm full of gall that I can pour into your ears and have you in my thrall. As husband and wife, we can plot dice and vision and make it our mission to achieve our ambition. But have you got the cojones to go for the throne, just like you were told by those crones? Yeah, you just need a little push, need a little shove, need somebody to be the iron fist in your velvet glove. Can't you see this is our destiny? Well, I just can't wait to be queen. I'm your right hand, but I am sinister. I am your own murdering minister. I don't mind you're gonna smoke up hell, but you see, babe, I know you all too well. And you just need a little push, need a little shove, need somebody to be the iron fist in your velvet glove. Need a little push, need a little shove, need a little needle of green, a little diamond of love. Can't you see this is our destiny? Well, I just can't wait, I just can't wait, I just can't wait to be queen. Can't wait to be queen. Interval. If you wish to go outside and plunge yourselves in the dumbest smoke of hell, you may. You may go to the bar and avail yourself of the great equivocator. We shall be back when the clock hath crowed 15. Thank you very much.
they love it. Now, I need to look in your family. They're just eggs now, but wait until they hatch, start hooking on, wriggling. You need to relax. I'm not getting anywhere here. That's right. I'm sorry, I know this is stressful. I got here as quick as I could, but no one's faster than the flies, buzzy little. Oh, look. Oh. Good sign. Metalina segmentata. What a spider. Arachne. You're in luck. I'd hoped to have this done before you woke up, but you were too freshly dead. Oh, I don't know. I knew of this. Well, not that new, but near my sisters. Listen, I'm not meant to be doing this. They'll find out, they always do. First time, they sliced the soles of my feet and toes and I walked raw for days. When I started slipping, they restored the skin and it was softer. They cut off my nipples and made me eat them. They reappeared. And another time, they pinpricked my eyes. It was light, ricocheting around my head, spiralling in from all angles, slanted through the prisms of my tears. It was so... I hope they do that again. That pain. I'm sorry, we don't have time. The hurly-burly's done, the battle's lost and won, and now I need to meet your husband, who, by the way, is dead. Which may well upset you, but he also isn't, and wasn't and won't be, so you need to come with me. Come on, I'm going to give you something very valuable, very rare. You'll like it. Can I want to say something. I want to make it clear that all this was not my idea. I had other plans. This whole affair, we didn't serve you well and we should have. And I can make amends. I can make it up to you if you come with me. No, you can't see it. It's not a place. Well, actually, technically a place in space and time, yes, but space being the sky and time being also the sky. I'm not being clear, am I? Where did I... There you are. Had an adventure. You see, she knows. It's like a web, and she can crawl from the edge to her prey on the other side in a straight line, or she can go around the outside, the long way, which is actually a shortcut to her prey, to where she wants to be, where I think you should be, should get a second chance. I can't control my sisters, but I can do this. I can take you the long way, the shortcut, back. A second chance. It's all a bit much, isn't it? It's all right. Let it out.
What you did to my husband, what you did to me, I know all about you, and you've been talking from your anus for long enough. Now it's my turn. You want pain? I will give you more pain than you can imagine. You won't want the pain I can give. I will cut your feet off at the ankles. I will rip off your whole breasts and never give them back. I will pop out your eyes and swallow them myself. I will not be merciful. I will absolutely scatter you. Do you understand? Oh, are you enjoying this?
I can't help it.
Do what I say or I will hurt you nothing. I will tear you like childbirth. I will bruise you like men's hands. I will blacken you like a pyre, fueled by your own toxic, terrified piss and sweat. Don't think I
What's a little spider gonna do? That was unnecessary.
You're next.
You should be grateful.
Grateful.
Do you know how many people have begged for this?
I never did. I don't want your cursed chances.
And what do you want?
Say I follow you. Live again as I once had done. Am I not doomed? What your sisters say is true.
What they say is true, yes. Must be true, with or without your interference. So, spill not the blood. It spills itself. Don't meddle.
How does it?
It has to, I just... The king is old, infirm.
Which king?
The dead king.
My husband.
Other dead king, keep up where they start, remember? And his sons will feel miserably. And you have no more children coming. There will be no heirs. Your dear, useless Macbeth would live long and happy as king, free from threat and legacy, with room for bloody banquo. You just need to keep him calm, not spur him on. You see?
I see.
So, come with me. Oh!
Very well. I don't like it, but if it's as you say, I have your word.
My home language.
Then I will. I will follow you. And I will be still and soft, soothing to Macbeth, patient even. I will try. And I will know your plan and follow it this time.
I do hope so.
What do you mean?
I'm giving you a clean slate, not a secret code.
So I won't know or remember you?
No.
But why should I forget?
Because you will begin again, anew.
Kill me! Put me back!
Why?
I can't.
Can't what?
Be different!
Why not?
And actually, what if I don't want to be?
Why wouldn't you want to be? We all want to be.
I don't. I want to be myself. I am nothing else. I want what I deserve. I am ready. I jumped ready. This isn't fair. You want to see me suffer twice over.
I do not.
Then why are you doing this?
Because I am what I am.
And what's that?
A witch. A hag. A crone. A weird sister. But I want to be different.
But if you throw me back and there is no difference, how can I choose differently?
You made mistakes.
I made decisions.
You failed.
And I will fail again. I'm bound to, aren't I? Find someone else to earn your punishment. Some way else to make yourself feel better. I am doomed. I did my best. And I cannot do better than that. And I can't do it again. I cannot.
Yes, you can.
I want what I have earned. My punishment. Do not deny me.
Eat it.
Behold, so shows a snowy dove shyly peeping forth.
No, Paulina, I'm not a 14-year-old virgin, for God's sake. Try again.
Right.
You draw back the curtain and say, behold, and say 'tis well, and fingers crossed, he says, walks in and says,
Her natural posture. Chide me, dear stone, that I may say, thou art indeed Hermione.
it's far more likely he'll say, but hold, Hermione was not so much wrinkled, nothing so grey, nothing so fat.
Oh, come on. He'll say, oh, thus she stood, even with such life of majesty when first I wooed her.
Or, interesting. And then he'll walk on to look at the carving of a bowl of fruit in the next alcove. And I, an old turtle, will wing me to some withered bough, and there my mate, who's never to be seen again, lament till I am lost.
Turtle.
Dove, turtle dove. It's a quote from, I don't remember. Menopause is as bad as being pregnant. I'm hungry all the time.
Hermione, he does not deserve you. He is not worthy of you for a minute. And tomorrow, you are going to have him begging at your feet, right?
Right.
And then you're going to decide whether or not to forgive him, right?
Right.
He won't know what to do with himself. I promise you.
Really?
Yep. And we can talk about this, but we need to get to bed. How did you sleep last night?
Badly. If I don't get a decent night's sleep, I'll look... I had the dream again.
The one where...
I know I'm dreaming, even as I stand there on the beach, but for some reason I don't mind. It's all very dramatic. Ocean waves at night. The ocean. That's what he was like. Beautiful. And a sudden and unexpected bringer of death. Sweet cakes. That was one name. And honey rabbit. Honey rabbit. This from a man who respected my judgment and valued his own. Honey rabbit. With his lips just here after we... Honey rabbit. No wonder it all went to hell in a handcart. In the dream, I'm standing on a hot, dark beach, and I think I might wade in, just up to my knees, just to cool down, when suddenly he emerges from the waves. There isn't any splashing. They just part, and he comes striding towards me with his eyes open and water running off his chest and arms. And he's so beautiful, I can't take my eyes off him. But then his face looks stricken, longing but disappointed like it did at the end. And this makes me want to say, no, 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 no. But he's still coming, and the waves are sucking and pulling against me. And my no, no, no starts to sound like what I'm missing, and the sound is yes, yes, yes. I hate that. And just at that point, I think I feel your hand on my brow. And I know I can wake up if I want to. But I realize that what my body longs for, what it longs for, is his joyful weight. Damn him. Leontes wasn't just beautiful, Paulina. He could talk as well, let's be frank.
Talk? Yes, definitely.
Read and write and sing like a bird. But the talking, God, I actually miss the talking.
Argue with me, Hermione. No one challenges me quite like you do. I need you.
I mean, what woman wouldn't be just a little bit taken with a man who looked like a prince, made love like a god, and knew she was the most intelligent person alive? And of course, actually was a prince. I've changed my mind.
Right?
No, I have. I don't want to do this. I look old.
You look beautiful.
Don't humor me. I'm fat and I look old. I don't care if I look beautiful, I still look old.
Older, yes, but beautiful. So beautiful, almost more beautiful than anyone else.
Irrelevant. I'm not in competition with other women. I like other women. I won't compete with them. I refuse to. It's myself at 28 that I'm competing with, which I despise. What idiocy. I shouldn't be thinking that. And if he's thinking that, he doesn't deserve to have me and I don't want him back. But what if he doesn't want me?
Right. I'm going to say this again, but this is the last time. I have been listening to him for weeks. I know that I instigated the visits as part of our grand plan, but don't think it hasn't bored me silly. Listening to how much he misses you, and how he still loves you even after 16 years. The effects of his fond jealousy so grieving that he shuts up himself, but obviously not in the sense of keeping quiet, since he's gone on a great length about how he can't find any peace. It was a madness. No woman will ever be her equal. Hell, you know, I'm on your side. I agree with him. Still, I can barely stand it.
That bad?
Without end.
And he used to be so witty.
Not so much anymore with the wit. I think we've managed to grind that out of him. He may bounce back after tomorrow.
Do you think this was a mistake? I mean, new underwear aside. I know you did it to make me happy, but it probably is a mistake, isn't it?
The plan?
The plan.
Probably.
After all, things here are so...
Absolutely. Yes, they are.
And we only just got the chickens. I've always wanted chickens, and they're selling in really well.
Yeah, and they know you know.
Who'd have thought it?
Yeah, I know. Chickens are supposed to be stupid, but they recognize you.
Their bucolic queen, aging gracefully thanks to her new uplifting underwear. Oh, I know you did it to make me happy. And we've had glorious fun with our statue plots. But tomorrow, to actually go through with it? No, I don't think so. No. Not that you weren't fantastically clever to make it all up.
I wasn't I?
Yes. I love you. I adore you for it. And you've made me believe that I could. Almost. But I can't. I couldn't stand it if you didn't.
Hermione.
He let my baby die, Paulina. Mamilius died. And our daughter,
Shh. Come on. It wasn't his fault. You know that. Mamilius got sick, Hermione. Nobody could save him. And he has grieved for years, just like you. You know that. And she's beautiful. She looks just like her father. She's happy in love. She's fine.
We only met 3 days before the wedding, he and I. Did you know that?
Yes. I was there.
Of course you were there.
Yeah. He'd seen your portrait, of course, but the first time he saw you was in the Great Hall, surrounded by your courtiers. He asked you to put up your field, and you hesitated for a moment.
I only did that for dramatic effect. He was so beautiful, I thought I needed all the help I could get.
And then you lifted it up and over your face, and no one could speak.
It's true, he was speechless.
We all were.
And I just know that this time he won't be. It shouldn't matter, but it does.
Oh, come on. Anybody would be. For Christ's sake. It's not just the inside. It's the inside. It's not just the outside. It's all of you, the whole you. Look, get up here. Take this. Oh, she's warm. If this be magic, let it be an art as lawful as eating. The brightness of her cheek doth shame the short stars. As daylight does a lamp, age cannot wither her, nor custom steal her infinite variety. Look on her and hark to her sweet counsel. Thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise, and make it halt behind her. Seeing her but once, I dreamt of her thereafter, such that when I waked, I cried to dream again. Be my queen. We'll go somewhere. We can go somewhere warm for sun roads, for yoga and Cordoban. You can sit in the courtyard and you'll study medicine with the Arab teachers, astronomy with the Jews, philosophy with the Christians. That'll suit your argumentative nature. But you'll be waiting for me when I come home each day, surrounded by the smell of orange blossom.
What will I wear?
Rings on your fingers and bells on your toes and 1,000 fields which will fall to the ground. Whoosh, 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 as I gallop in on my horse, whose manure will make the roses bloom. This isn't working, is it?
No, darling.
Why am I not enough?
Don't say that.
Why?
I love you.
No, you don't. Not in any way that matters. And I'm just an aging fool in a pair of pantomime boots. I can't think of another game. I can't. I have nothing left.
I'm sorry. What if we just went away for a week or two?
No.
A spa visit?
No.
Peanut?
No. Tell you what, Hermione. I think you should put on that sheet and he should stand on that stool. And tomorrow, I really will bring him down here.
No.
Yes. Put your money where your mouth is. After 16 years, make a choice.
No.
Yes. Me or him.
I can't.
Choose.
I need you.
So let him rot. Haven't we been happy? You can have anything, just say it, and we will do it. Hermione. Well, I'm coming. Well, Lord Leontes, sovereign sir, that you have vouchsafed my poor house to visit is a surplus of your grace, which never my life may last to answer. As she lived peerless, so her dead likeness, I do believe, excels whatever yet you looked upon, or hand of man hath done. Therefore, I keep it lonely, apart.
Was a jealous villain called Iago. He was that it's mine. He said, you don't see her cheating because her love is blind. But somebody has stole her heart, and I know the thief. For she even gave Michael Cassio her handkerchief. Hanky panky, oh well it sank me. One little piece of cloth led to my death. That scrap of linen, it led to sin. And now I am completely out of breath. When Othello saw my pleasant hanky, he jumped to the conclusion I was skanky. And the green-eyed monster turned him totally berserk. But when he killed me, he found out Iago was a lying jerk. Well, Othello was filled with remorse. He said, I am in hell. You see before you one who loved not wisely but too well. Well, I said, that's fine, but it don't help my corpse one little bit. You still shouldn't have killed me, you stupid fucking shit. Hanky panky, oh well it sank me. One little piece of cloth led to my death. That scrap of linen, it led to sinning. And now I am completely out of breath.
My lady, I think you're mistaken.
I can assure you I have... What do you mean, lady? I am but a humble page awaiting my lord, Lorenzo.
Now look, I'll be frank with you. I feel it's my moral obligation to let you in on a few tricks of the trade.
Tricks of what trade?
Well...
Oh no! You're not going to kidnap me, are you? I've heard of that sort of thing. Completely innocent young women carted off and sold to pirates. How dare you! Help! Guard!
Shut up. You're kidnap yourself, you know. Pirates, but somebody else might if you don't stop shouting. Now, you're not going to scream, you're going to listen to what I have to say, right? Well, it's clear you're a woman.
By my troth I am not, I have told you. Kind sir, I am but a humble page.
What I mean to say is, you're not fooling anyone. You can't even conceal your feelings for this Lorenzo, and you've got...
What? Is my appearance not suitably masculine?
Your hair.
Is my short masculine hair notable?
Yes. Because it's neither short nor masculine, and you haven't stopped playing with that curl on your shoulder ever since you mentioned Lorenzo.
Well then, what am I to do? I can't very well wander about the streets on my own.
What you need to know is, I know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and I want to help.
You couldn't possibly understand. I've done this for love, no other reason.
We have to escape the grip of my father, Shylock. And in order to do so, I've dressed as my lover's page. No man could understand what it's like to be so oppressed.
No man might, but I assure you I do.
What do you mean?
Well, no, you can't be. Well, I assure you I am.
But you're so manly.
Well, disguise. Well, you want to stay out of trouble, this is what you have to do.
Tell me, whatever you say, I'll do it.
Your hair, cut it.
I couldn't possibly cut my hair.
No, then tie it back. All of it, no face screaming curls, no vanity. Next, you're going to have to get your story straight. Create a backstory and stick to it. And for goodness sake, don't swoon when you mention Lorenzo. It completely discredits you as a page.
Well, it's really difficult not to swoon.
Are you making excuses?
It's not an excuse.
Well, it seems like one. Seems to me like you're not taking this as seriously as you should.
I'm taking this as seriously as needs be. I've disguised myself for love, and I'm perfectly content with the manner in which I've done this. You seem to have very different reasons for your disguise than I do. You must understand that I cannot simply embrace masculinity with such a plum as yourself. It's against my very nature.
And do you think that this disguise is of my choosing? My purpose is not to be masculine for the sake of fun or folly, as you seem to imply. I've done this to save my very life because you seem to take so lightly.
Lorenzo seems to think otherwise.
What did I say about swooning?
Oh, that hurts! Let me go!
No, I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation you're in. Your honor, your dignity, your very life can depend on the adequacy of your disguise.
Let me go! Oh, your grace!
Forgive me, your grace. I didn't know we were in the presence of greatness.
Get up. Everyone in a 5-mile radius can hear you shouting at each other. Get up, both of you.
Your grace! Words cannot express the great joy. But your grace!
Stop! You waltz around utterly unashamed that you make a mockery of your feminine nature. What possible reason could you have to be so poorly disguised?
Well, for love, your grace.
Is love not worthy of an act performed well? Is your love so inconsequential?
I never thought.
Oh, you never considered. Now go, leave us.
But your grace, I would not so readily depart from the radiant glow of your presence.
Are you deaf? Did you not hear what I just said to you? Leave me now.
Well, I would. Really, I would. But I am meant to meet my true love here. Any moment he will arrive and this whole business shall be resolved. I'm sure you understand.
You are as unhearing as you are foolish.
Oh no, your grace, I hear perfectly well. I just don't want to miss the love of my life. Your grace.
You are wise. You should leave.
Oh, of course I am wise. But I regret I will not be leaving.
You are not as wise as you think. I've asked you nicely, and I demand that you go.
Never would have believed so majestic a lady could be capable of such violent proclivities. I will go now, if only to prevent further loss of my hair.
Get. Your head down, and don't speak to anyone. And in the name of all that is good, please don't swoon. Go. You'll excuse me, your grace?
Stop there.
Please, your grace, I gratefully retire from your presence.
I know that you would. Do you have a shred of sense, unlike your friend?
She's no friend of mine, a fool, and it seems you don't suffer fools lightly.
When you are queen, you can dispose of fools.
And thus I shall take my leave before I'm disposed of.
You are no fool.
Yet I've made the same foolish mistake for which you criticised our sister. Though not my intention, I have shamed our first acts and should like to crawl under a rock, if you would.
Your mistake is not so conspicuous. However, I am curious. Why have you, such a beautiful woman, disguised yourself thus?
I would imagine that the answer to that question is obvious.
Imagine for a moment, it is not.
I'm a woman, and I'm stranded on a strange and foreign land.
Are women not resilient? Are we not capable and strong? Are we not beautiful and able to woo at will?
We are, of course.
Anyone stranded in a new place may be uncomfortable, may feel vulnerable. And men are no less likely to feel this pang of fear.
I do not doubt that, Your Grace, but it doesn't change the fact
But
that...
it does. You demean yourself, becoming something less regal. You debase yourself in becoming a man. We women, particularly those as beautiful as we are, have advantages at our disposal that men know not.
Advantages? The advantages that you speak of are most effectively used in positions of power, and in my humble circumstances, these advantages are nothing of the sort.
They would be, if you were not so fearful.
If I were not so fearful? Then what would you have me do? Just offer myself to the highest bidder?
Is that out of the question?
Not. You think that to hide in the costume of a man is to devalue our sex, but to be so easily bought is a greater offence.
Someday, you might find such a possibility more appealing than cowering fearfully in an identity that is not your own.
I will not be bought or sold in the whim of some man's fickle desires.
Be not so fearful. In the end, we all share the same fate.
Yes, there are fates worse than death.
That much is true. But to be fearful and ashamed of one's own countenance is a fate I would not wish upon anyone. You are a beautiful woman. There's no need to hide.
I am not ashamed of my womanly form. I am not made foolish by my disguise. I have become like a man so that I might share in their advantages. As a man, I can conduct my business freely without concern for my safety. As a man, I am more than my advantages. Would you not take the same opportunity were presented to you?
Well, this freedom that you crave is yours for the taking as a woman. Am I inhibited in my dealings?
Of course, you are not. You have powers beside your beauty at your disposal, but what alternative is there for me? If I, as an ordinary woman, no matter how beautiful, am to survive, then surely I must become like them.
Becoming like a man does not mean you become a man. A man is not given his power because of his hair or his dress. Therefore, there is no need to copy his form.
Of course, there is no need in you impersonating a man's form. I envy you. Not so many are well protected by their royal standing.
Oh, you speak brazenly for one so fearful.
I'm not afraid. I have gone beyond the perilous boundaries of fear into profound freedom. I am more free than you will ever be, fair queen.
Do you think the most powerful and beautiful woman in the land is not free?
No, queen. You're held captive in your beauty, a caricature of what powerful men expect from our sex. Or men made powerful by their beauty. Do they gain favour in bed such as you have? You have seduced our Roman lord to bend his ear
I assure you that any man in my circumstance would not fare so well.
I do not doubt that, your grace. But despite the part that you have bartered for, you're little more than a mistress.
You speak of choices you have never made. What does a eunuch know of such affairs?
Nothing, your grace. And it's my great wish that it should always be so. Now, if you'll excuse me, my Lord Orsino returns.
Do you, swoon, eunuch?
Of course not, my queen.
Shift your horse, Ophelia! Get out of the way! Come on! This isn't fair! I want to talk! Come clean! Why did you do that?
I can't remember. Oh, you killed my Lord Hamlet.
No, I didn't. Why do you always muddle everything up? I didn't kill Hamlet. Don't mind her. More important, I didn't kill his father. I couldn't have killed his father. Of this sin my soul is clean. I want to tell my son. He's here somewhere. I can feel him. Don't you want to see Hamlet again, Duck Egg? You still angry at him?
I don't know.
Look, he was always a sensitive child. Old Hamlet loathed to see young Hamlet's nose in a book. Oft times my son would throw himself down by the riverbank, bathing his feet in the water. Let me make it plain. I did not kill his father.
Hair splitting.
But cards on the table. Did old Hamlet deserve to die? Of course he bloody well did. How long do you think it's been rotten in the state of Denmark? My husband would have started a fight in an empty room. For years and years and years I put up with it.
Where are we?
Elsinore. Still.
Why?
This is like herding cats.
So you didn't kill my Lord Hamlet,
No.
but he is dead.
Oh, my sweet ears.
I am dead too.
Do you not know that much? Feel the hem of your skirt. Oh yes, damp to the touch, never dries out. You'd catch your death again if you could.
Catch it.
Yours was the saddest death of all. And Hamlet must speak up for his part in it when we come to answer for all of this. He sent you to the river, darling. There. You're right to forget some things.
Did I break Lord Hamlet's heart too? I have some memory of it. My father bid me be harsh.
No more than Hamlet broke yours, no more than he broke his own.
These walls are steeped in sadness.
You said it, kid.
Who's here now?
Myriad ghosts.
Who else? Any living still?
None of ours. Norwegians, Fortinbras is kin. Rudy Core has gone down a notch.
Why am I here?
For taking your own life, I told you.
Why are you here?
For taking someone else's life. The man who was Hamlet's uncle.
No, not he. Not when you played jokes on me. You married him in haste.
Ah, well.
The funeral maids did furnish the wedding table.
Something along those lines. Angels and ministers of Christ defend us! Jesus, forgive me! I am sorry and beg pardon for all my sins. I detest them above all things. Lord, hear me!
I'm sure he can hear you.
I hope so. Things are apt to trick you here. You never know where your thoughts might go, fly upward to heaven or down below.
Did you love him?
Who?
Claudius, silly.
I did, I suppose. A mother's love is the strongest, though. Look, I'll fess up. Claudius and I had a fling in the past, a long time ago. We did the deed before old Hamlet and I had lain together. 9 months later, bingo, Hamlet was born.
So old Hamlet is Hamlet's uncle, and Claudius is Hamlet's father. I get it now.
At last!
And if a man shall lie with his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. It says so in the Bible.
Thank you for that. It's funny. After that brief fling, Claudius and I cooled it. In a castle full of spies and yes-men, well, you don't want to take your chances in a linen cupboard too often.
How funny, no one suspected a thing.
It's not that hilarious.
Still, very clever though. Why did you start up again?
I don't know, really.
Ah, yeah, you do. Your husband was a bully and a bore. Did I tell you about the time I killed old Norway on the day Hamlet was born?
Only 100 times.
Oh, we all heard that one in the court, madam.
And would laugh. I could see old Hamlet looking at young Hamlet when he said it.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yes, I'd forgotten.
Fancy forgetting that. You don't forget much.
Where did young Hamlet get his courage laterally, I wonder?
He avenged the man he believed was his father. There was love there. Still, maybe you should have told him the truth. You could have told him when he was grown, when he went to Wittenberg, no?
No.
But even after old Hamlet died.
I don't know, I just didn't get round to telling him the truth. Indecision runs in the family.
But you told Claudius when you started up your love affair again.
Yes.
And the rest is poison.
Old Hamlet was a tyrant.
When did Claudius find out you lied to him too?
What? No, no, Ophelia, you're confused again.
He decided then not to slide his fat lump off the throne of Denmark, didn't he?
It was only supposed to be a temporary measure while Hamlet was studying.
Hamlet was mad.
Mad cuckoo in the nest.
Claudius was worried for him.
Liar! And you know it, madam. You played the whore long before you married old Hamlet, long before you slept with Claudius. What a game player!
My lord!
I knew the moment of old Norway's death. You were carrying live cargo long before you set sail for our court of Elsinore. It was old Norway's child.
No, I swear.
Swear.
Hear me, good lord.
Get thee to a nunnery.
For that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I would a tale unfold that would harrow up thy soul.
Freeze thy young blood, make thy 2 eyes start from their spheres.
Leave her to heaven, you said, not hell.
False queen, false son.
But he avenged you, went wild with grief for you.
that I ever saw him. I was a child, and he but fresh returned from war and victory. The dusty sand of Egypt was in his hair, and his eyes fevered with sea battle. Pearls of salt gloried on his Roman skin. I watched him mount the marble steps to converse with my father Orletes. He was proud in his battle scars, his leather wounds, and wore a bronze and silver eagle across his breastplate. Our palace echoed with a maid's talk of the handsome Mark Antony, of his tunic tucked high and his rolling hips. They said that it slept his way across all of Asia. I studied the profile of this young general as he spoke unconsciously. Beneath a tint of indignation, born from Romans before him, I welcomed such a brave man under Egypt's sun. And I would make my way slowly to him over many years, my reputation ahead of me, and Caesar's child at my side. How I would shine for him. The talk of the tribes of Asia was this black queen, of how I lit the water in a golden barge made from cypress and cedar from the Lebanon. As the water burned, my sails of purple billowed the wind, and silver oars pedaled like feathers, steady as a heartbeat. The high sun soldered all forms on the ship, from the lookout and the high mast to the finest slaves. Aboard the decks, near the reefing ropes and rudder sweeps, fruitful handmaidens graced the vessel, shedding flowers like blossom trees, to see the river Cydnus. With this spring intoxication, perfume incense scented the air with devotions of jasmine, white lily, violet, cardamom, and lotus flower. Lutes and pipes diffused heavenly music, whilst I reclined in a diaphanous gown, cloth white as the dress of Aphrodite. Such enchantments urged the herdsmen to leave their flock, the birds to abandon vineyards, to follow the course of the river Cydnus. The people left Antony waiting alone to follow the path along the riverbank, ran from Tarsus for a glimpse of me. A goddess had come to make merry with Dionysus for the joy of all Asia. After this, I dare say that I shall become a marionette for Octavian's triumph in Rome, laughed at as I walk naked beside his chariot. Shall the populace revel while my feet bleed? Why this? Because Cleopatra chooses in the manner of a man. Because she knows how to build a fleet and fashion a kingdom. Or because my skin is darker than Roman wives. A necklace of names I have worn these years, written by the hands of ignorant men. Slave, usurper, no more than a filthy concubine. That I stupor men with aphrodisiacs and play them with my charms. This I have weathered and sailed into,
cast myself proudly with no dilution, for no woman has been such as I. No queen built such an empire. Shall I wait for food and charity, like a war orphan? I who gave the finest of feasts, gave gifts of stallions, emeralds, ivory, and ebony to common guests. I will never be ready to spit on my life, nor humble myself before the rank and foul of Roman underdogs, Yeda, lechery, or handled by the enemies of my land. I cannot, for my father, nor my ancestors before him. In abusing me, they defile the temple of Isis. In defiling me, they abuse all Egypt. I shall evade grappling like smoke in a temple offering. I will not make a ballad for them, nor give them my royal face. It shall not be painted whore. I will not die before a Roman's gaze, or see Octavian enthroned in Alexandria, speaking from the steps where Antony stood. My hope, my son Caesarion, murdered before he reached the Red Sea. With my son's last breath comes the fall of the dynasty. He will take no more. My life is forever planted in the reeds of the mother Nile that suckles this land. I must follow Antony into the dark. Fire of the burning sun rages like blood in my veins. This day is both tender and harsh. The air is slow, but I can taste the salt in it. See how Antony's ship waits patiently amongst the fishing boats. It is said that the gods abandon a city before its fall. Last night Dionysus was heard leaving Alexandria, and with him a procession of revelers, heard but not seen. They said that the music passed through the gates of the city and faded in the direction of the enemy's camp. Now, future gives way. How the dust lights the mausoleum walls. It's agate and alabaster. It's porphyry. Purple of it puts me in mind of the purple sail that told Antony of my coming. The night goddess spreads her blue feathered wings, swallows the orange orb of the sun, and may travel through her being to be born again at dawn. The night is before me, but I am not afraid. These tears belong to Egypt. The hour comes, like a bird